Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Let me adjust this a little bit. I am Coach Kiana Shaw, CEO of Leadership Academy and the creator of the I Choose to Be a Lady movement. And I am here answering questions out of my mom's group called Mothers Raising Teen Daughters. It's on Facebook. You may send a request to join. It is a closed group just to keep things private. But we would love to have you if you are a mother or a father. Actually, we have a few men in the group who are raising teen daughters, so we would thank you for joining us. And so we have a questions thread, and this question, is coming from the thread, and the question says, how do I instill in my teen daughter that the absence of her father does not make her less worthy of love? And that is a very difficult position to be in as a mom. I work with teenagers all the time who are in school settings, in group home, probation home settings, foster care settings, who are dealing with this very issue. And some girls are with their parents, and maybe mom and dad broke up, maybe dad was never involved, maybe he was involved until he got married. There are a lot of issues that create this situation. Sometimes it's because mom and dad can't get along and dad chooses the path of least resistance. Sometimes mom says you're not allowed to be involved, and going to court to fight for his right is a very expensive thing sometimes. So it can be a lot of issues that create this situation. So my first and foremost piece of advice is to validate your daughter as much as you can. Love her as much as you can. Oftentimes, as moms, we get so wrapped up in fixing everything. We are literally on the move all day. So we get up and we get our kids up, and then it's, iron, shower, get dressed, do your hair, make breakfast, eat breakfast, skip the dishes. We'll get them when we come back home, and then it's work all day. They're at school all day. When we finally get back to our children, it's get in the car, stop at the dry cleaners, maybe stop at the grocery store, come home, put dinner on, tell them to do their homework, and then it's, now that dinner is cooked, come eat dinner, wash the dishes. You're still trying to clean up the dishes that you cooked in. You're still trying to put a load in the washing machine. When that's done, take it to the dryer, put another load in the washer. When that's done, take the clothes out the dryer, fold them, hang them up, put them away. All this is being done. Now you still, reviewing homework, then checking homework after it's been done, doing baths. You know what I mean? It's a lot. And then if you're married, at the end of all that, somebody's tapping you on your shoulder going, hey, or you technically, you don't even have to be married for that to be going on. If you have a significant other, let's say that like that, you at the end of the day, someone's tapping you on your shoulder saying, hey, roll over and please me too. And so as moms, sometimes we forget that there's a piece in there where we have to slow down the day and just love on our kids. And I am very guilty of this, because after a day of, working with clients, and then I have to come home and I have to prepare for tomorrow's clients, because everything is on a system. And sometimes I forget to just stop and pull out the fake, the fake dryer or the toy vacuum cleaner, and just spend some time with my daughter just doing some stuff. And because we have teenagers who are already in a world of seclusion, because they want to do things their own way, they're also trying to make sure that they have their private time, because they want to be on the phone, they want to be on the internet, there's always so much going on, and we forget to stop the day and spend time and just love our kids. And a lot of times when we have father issues, we also have mommy issues. And no one talks about the mommy issues, because at least mommy was there. At least mommy did her part. She was there. She did the food. She was at PTA meetings, whatever the case may be. So the first thing I want to be sure that I tell you is to make sure that you are validating your daughter as much as possible. And we know that moms give us our femininity. They give us our, sexuality in a sense, but only dad can validate who we are as a woman in our prime years. After that, we start looking for other men to validate, and we all know that that can be a very bad situation if we're not careful. So, that being said, the next step is to find out from your daughter how she wants to handle the absence of her father. Let her have input, because we make decisions for our kids without consulting them, and it may not be the way that they would handle it. Now, if she doesn't have input, then that's fine, but to not allow her input, especially after the age of 12, is a really dangerous place, because it teaches our daughters that mommy is always going to make our decisions, and however we feel about it is completely irrelevant, and we don't want our daughters to feel that way. So make sure that in addition to them being validated and feeling loved by you, that you are actually asking her, how do you want to handle this? Because sometimes it's as simple as sending him a card every month. And I know moms who have been like, I'm not spending $1.50 on a card for him. He don't never spend no money on her. I'm not spending $1.50 on the card. And it's like, that's not the point, Mom. I get it. You're mad. You are a woman. I hear you roaring, fist up. But she needs to be able to communicate with him. And sometimes it's that letter a month where she feels, I have done my part. I've reached out. I've done it for the last 5 years, and now I can walk away. But whatever it is that she needs, let her do that. Use the journal. I'm big on the journal. Give her the journal so she can say whatever she feels. And sometimes she may not want you to read that. She might say, Mom, you know what? Read this page of the journal, but please don't read that. Okay, no problem. Give her the journal. Give her the option to share that journal with you. Because remember, there's the journal that you share with your daughter, your teen, to let her have her voice, to let her say how she feels, the way she feels it, and you can't have any feedback. But then a separate journal, and I'm going to go ahead and say that, do a separate journal for, how she feels about her father and what she wants to say. She might want to write some very personal letters to him. Her letters may say something like, I hate that you're not here. There's a father-daughter dance and you're not available. Not because you're not alive, right? But because you just aren't there, because you choose not to be. Even if mom did this, even if mom said that, if grandma said this about you, you chose not to be there. And she has to come into develop on her own that you can't run a real man away. Not from his daughter, not from the woman he wants to be with. You can't run a real man away from anything, anyone that he wants. You just can't. So you have to make sure that she understands that she has a right to express her feelings, and she has a right to her desire to be around and with her father. Don't make her feel bad about that. And then have a very honest conversation with him. Your daughter needs you, and it's unfair to her. However you feel about me, however your new wife feels about the situation, however the new girlfriend feels, if she's uncomfortable or whatever, you have a responsibility to your child. Whether you're mad about child support, whether you're mad, whatever the issue is, he still has a responsibility to his daughter. No matter what state he's in, he has an obligation. And having a very honest conversation with him, if you can do it without arguing. If you can't, write the letter. If you can't have that conversation with him without arguing, write the letter. If you need to express it, you don't have time to write it, freeconferencecall.com. Set up an account and you can call that number and say how you feel and send him the link. All I say is make sure that however you express yourself, it's respectful, it is logical, not emotional, and that whatever you have said is something that will go toward healing the situation as opposed to drawing a further wedge between you and her dad, because that's really important. Another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is, if there are positive male influences in your daughter's life, that you ask them to step up a little bit. Ask them to go to the father-daughter dance. Ask them to take her out for coffee once a month and just sit and talk, and let her, even if she doesn't say anything, just allowing her the opportunity to spend time with a man that you can trust, that has a proven track record of wanting to be a part of her life. That can help her, somebody with good common sense that can help her through whatever issues are already there. And then don't make an issue where there's not one. For some of our daughters, they don't have daddy issues. They really don't. We say that. We say we don't want them to have it. We say we're trying to help them avoid that. But some of them don't have daddy issues. Some of them are really logical and say, you know what? To know me is to love me, and to not be a part of me is his problem. Some of them are very matter of fact like that. So we have to be careful of what we label it and how we present it to our kids. So if you have more detailed questions, please feel free to ask them in the questions thread. I'm going to actually put another one up. I am Kiana Shaw. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps. Bye.